Hello and welcome to Antique.com. Today I'm looking at a Dell Dimension 2400. This machine is presently running Windows XP. It's having a lot of problems, mainly due to crap software, third-party stuff, not Microsoft stuff, namely the antivirus. As you'd imagine, it's quite hard to find current antivirus, malware, stroke firewall products that are continuously updated for Windows XP. And the one that was installed was basically taking over the entire machine. It got to the point where it was taking 10 to 15 minutes to boot, so I've had to completely blitz the system back to the base operating system, and instead of continuing with Windows XP, I thought I'd give this a bit of an upgrade. Now the only problem I have is I'm limited in memory on this machine to 2 gig. I've only got 1 gig in there at the moment. The only reason I've got 1 gig in there is because I've only got 1 gig of memory that matches. I've got lots of different types of memory, different DDR ratings, but I've got nothing more than 1 gig in a pair or a single stick. So there's a 1 gig single stick in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the update for Windows Vista. So reputedly the second worst operating system ever made by Microsoft, number 1 being Microsoft Millennium, and Windows Vista being number 2 for intrusiveness and really poor performance, which hey, so what, let's give it a try. So we'll try the compatibility online. This is probably not going to work, but you know, it's worth trying to discover. So I can now hear the hard drive churning over quite furiously. So I'd imagine it's building a database of what hardware is inside this machine. Yeah, everything's really slowed down. The mouse is almost non-responsive. Well, I've no idea what that's all about. It's opened up my web browser at the last page I was looking at, and it's downloaded a zip file, so I have no idea what any of that is about, and it's still massively unresponsive. Okay, and now the machine's back to working normally. So let's not bother with the online test, because obviously that's just creating data for no reason whatsoever to give back to Microsoft for probably some marketing purposes or other. Let's just go straight with the install. It's a bit frightening when the very last sentence here says your upgrade may take several hours to complete. I'm absolutely appalled by that. How could anybody in the marketing department ever get away with that? Surely you would say your upgrade may take some time, go and have a cup of coffee. It's not basically going to tell you, oh, it's going to take most of the day, you might as well just sit here and die. Well, I've got to say, as Windows installations go, this is by far the most mind-numbingly boring version there is. There's no splash screens, there's no information, there's no tips or tricks, there's no marketing spiel, there's no images, there's no all this has got the latest greatest widget that you can use, etc. All there is just this one screen that just goes on and on monotonously doing nothing whilst your hard drive is churning itself to pieces. Really, really bad. Like a fool, I've decided to video this, so I've got to sit and watch it. Oh my god, something different. Well look, whilst that's going on, let's have a wander around and look at some things. So, here is the Pentium Pro 150 machine, which I haven't finished off yet. One of the big problems I have had with it was originally the CD-ROM drive failed and the hard drive issues. So I've replaced the hard drive with a replacement, job done. There is a floppy drive, but I haven't got a carrier for it, so I'm still trying to find one for that. And the CD-ROM drive failed. I've replaced it with this black fronted one, just temporarily, but I have got a replacement cream coloured one. So the problem I had was that the power supply had a fan on it on the back, which used to blow air onto the processor. The new power supply that I've put in doesn't have that, so consequently I can only run this machine for about a minute before the processor gets too hot. I've managed to find a replacement CPU with heatsink and fan assembly, and I've ordered that online, but as it's the sort of Christmas New Year holiday, that still hasn't arrived. You can also see, as my foot is pointing, that is the touchscreen jukebox machine. I haven't had an opportunity to pop down and deliver that. The orange Apple clamshell there that you see, still ongoing issues with that. I actually believe it's the power supply itself, this unit, this round unit here. I need to find another power supply. I've only got one between the two books, but if I can sort that out, great. This is the CD-ROM, the SCSI CD-ROM drive that was in the compact. It doesn't seem to be spinning up at all, so I've had a little quick look, but I'm yet to have a proper look at it. So let's just move on elsewhere. So this is just in the middle of the corridor at the moment, but we'll get to it. This is the Compaq Prosignia VS. This is a 486 file server. Has 3 SCSI drives in it. I've got some new SCSI drives coming and a new SCSI drive cable on order. The problem I've discovered with this is that one of the hard drives has got bad sectors, although it doesn't show up on a single check. But if you run it for more than a few minutes and then check it, it does come up with bad clusters. The others are quite noisy, so I'm thinking they're all just about on their last legs. This is a 1992-1993 machine, so you know these drives are getting close to sort of 25 to 30 years old, so it's hardly a surprise. And also the 50-pin SCSI cable has got some issues with it, so I'm going to replace that. The only difficulty is that the replacement hard drives I've got are 68-pin, so I need to get some 68-pin to 50-pin adapters, and then I'll try again in this machine and see where we get to. The only other option I've got is I've managed to find an ISA I/O card that would enable me to put an IDE device in. So maybe I could string an IDE CD-ROM device off of this and get this going. Either way, I'm going to wait until the hard drives, the adapters and the cable turn up, and then I'll have another play with this machine. But it's not forgotten and it's not lost. Meanwhile, back at the Windows Vista install, still going, still looking rubbish, still churning the hard drive to pieces. It says please wait a moment whilst Windows prepares to start for the first time. It's on its third reboot already. I can see why a lot of people were quite switched off from this. The Windows, let's say 2000 to XP, or the Windows 98/Millennium to Windows XP is quite a smooth installation, and by the time that Windows Vista came out, Microsoft XP was quite a stable operating system with quite wide support, quite wide adoption, so this may well have come as why are we changing? And at the same time, I think around this sort of time, the OS X Apple was stealing a huge leap in terms of how things operated, how quickly things installed. This, as I say, just seems to be taking forever to do anything. Okay, so continuation of the update. The two machines on the end here I still haven't looked at. These are from the original first batch of machines that I got. This one here is a twin Xeon server, Pentium 4 type server, socket 478 I believe it is. Haven't looked close enough, I'll get to it. This one is just an empty case. I've also got this twin Xeon Dell server to look at. I managed to get this one up and running, but it keeps reporting memory issues, and I think there's a bit of a static discharge that needs to be sorted out with it. This machine here, this black one at the top here, it's a dual core system. This one will run Windows 10. It needs the CD-ROM replaced in it, but I have some spares. You can see the cream coloured spares there, so I'll take one of them out of the compact and put it into this, and I'll put one of these into the compact. These three machines here are actually all identical, all the same case, but what is different is the top one is a Pentium 3 desktop. The one on the left here that is missing the drives in the front, that one there, is also a Pentium 3, but it's a tower. And this one here is also a tower, but this is actually a dual Pentium 2. I didn't know until I took the case lid off just to have a little look inside. Unfortunately, I can't boot any of them at the moment because they all need PCI graphics cards, and I haven't got any PCI graphics cards. So I'm on the hunt for some. So when I find some, I'll start having a play with these three. So it's obvious that it's now lost all the driver files for things like graphics, because it seems to be down into 16 colours at best, maybe 256. So that would have hit people as well. They would have been expecting that this was a quick installation and they could just carry on exactly as they are, and it looks like a lot of the drivers may have to change. We have a desktop Let's just see if we can adjust it to an appropriate size. Okay, so how do we do that? Nope, not that one. Ah. So why is that not? Yes, so it doesn't understand. It just says standard VGA, so it doesn't understand what driver it is. What a pile of crap.